Today's another episode in the Let's Discover series, and we're going to be talking about the brand Zaharoff from the creator George Zaharoff. Want to find out more? Stay tuned. What's up, fragrance family? Today is an awesome episode of the Let's Discover series. We're going to be discussing the Zaharoff brand. We're going to talk a little bit of history on the brand. Then we're going to do some first impressions. We've got about 7 of fragrances here. A couple of them I have had the pleasure of sniffing, but it's been quite a while since I've got my nose on them. So I figured let's do another first impression on some of these live here on camera, and then some of these I actually have not smelled just yet. A lot of these fragrances I have paid for myself. However, 3 other fragrances I wanted to mention that I emailed him on Facebook, sent him a message. I was telling him how I was interested in picking up some of the travel sets or the travel discovery packs, and I would have liked to customize it and, with the intention of purchasing. However, before I could even purchase, George asked me which fragrances they were. I responded. He sent me those 3 travel sets. Shout out to you, George. Thank you so much. And this is a perfect way to start this episode. George Zaharoff is an awesome guy, one that supports the fragrance community and one of the very few fragrance company CEOs that is actually involved with us. He listens. There's a lot of community behind his brand. He has his own group on Facebook. It's just been an awesome experience. A lot of his fragrances across the board has been very natural smelling. One of his fragrances actually won Fragrance of the Year, and that's the fragrance that we have here, TABAC. And it's just been honestly very, very fun getting to know him, his brand, and just really being involved in the community has been awesome. He has some collaborations with some well-known YouTubers like TLTG Ross, and then also Curly Fragrances and Justin Copeland from Stay Fresh Productions. Unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure of getting my hands on any of those fragrances. However, there is a huge fan base for all of those fragrances, and I don't doubt their quality. If they're anything like these fragrances that we have here, I can definitely attest to the fact that all of these smell extremely natural. So let's start with some history. We're gonna talk about the brand's heritage while we put it up on the screen. Basically, a brand that started by George Zaharoff himself. However, the real founder of his inspiration was his mother, Mariana Zaharoff. So she was a talented designer for dignitaries and celebrities. And so basically it started in Chicago. So they're from Chicago in the late 1970s. And she also got a lot of awards and was nominated for the Coty American Fashion Critics Award twice, which is awesome. So we can see that, he has a little bit of heritage here. There's some photos of his mother, and that's beautiful, very beautiful. And so a lot of her designs are actually still prized in some of the Chicago history museums. So that's awesome. And she was also chosen as a designer of Patti Davis Reagan's wedding gown. That is insane. That is insane, guys. So after that, her son, George Zaharoff, obviously, he started, he began with a highly prized fragrance that was launched in the 90s and some suits in the 2000s. So George developed a passion for a lot of, the consumer products, and you can really tell the difference in between George and a lot of these other producers or, CEOs and just consumer goods CEOs specifically. So he sold a lot of products like suits and stuff, even in Nordstrom locations. And to be honest with you guys, this was all news to me until I got, onto the website and to discover. So this is very interesting. And then in the late 2018s, he started, and the launch that launched his fragrance company was the Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. So that's the fragrance that really started everything out, and that's actually one of the fragrances that George sent over for me to try. There's some heritage there. He's a Chicago-based creator, and also a lot of their promise on their website. There is a promise section as well here, which talks about very sustainable ingredients. So harvesting that's conscious of the environment and all that good stuff. These things matter for longevity, of our species, really, and just overall morals. That this company is one that's going for socially responsible practices, and so that is concerned also with the communities across the globe. And it's just really it's really refreshing. So a lot of these are very naturally sourced fragrances, and that speaks in volumes for the quality of these fragrances. Even their agarwood, which is the oud, is, you know, responsibly sourced, and so very nice, you know. And there's some information here on the website as well about where oud comes from, the tree of the Aquilaria, which is also, you know, it's really, really nice. So it also talks about how it can only be harvested from managed plantations, and so that's all they use. You can see that they only use 100% pure, sustainable, high quality oud that is sustainably grown, so, and managed by the Convention for International Trade or Endangered Species, which is awesome. This is just awesome. It's really, really good. And guys, these fragrances speak in volumes, their quality. So pretty easy to navigate through the website here. We can see that when you click the shop Zaharoff, you'll get a drop-down menu. He's also got things like grooming oils and even tobacco. Yes, even tobacco. There is a tobacco lounge and a Zed Creators collection as well. Under the Zed Creators collection, you can see all the creators that he's collaborated with. So we see that we have Andrea, we have Ross, and Justin. And so these are also fragrances that, you know, that were created. At the time of making this video, none of these are actually available. However, it's just very neat to see the involvement of George Zaharoff with our community. So we can go back now and really go into the fragrances. He also has accessories and all other kinds of good stuff that, you know, in a later time on your own you can maybe take a look at, but for now we're going to discuss some of the fragrances here so we can see their pricing as well. A lot of the limited runs are a little bit pricier than something like the Signature. The Signature per Homme runs for about $115 for a 2 ounce, and the 4 ounce goes for about $145, if I'm not mistaken, for a 4 ounce. 175, I stand corrected. So some of these limited ones, like for instance Zaharoff's Signature Royale X, is a Parfum Extrait, and it only comes in one size, the 2 ounce. So in that 2 ounce is also $145, but nonetheless, guys, most of these 2 ounces smell like really, really good quality. So all right, so we're back, and now we're gonna talk about some of these fragrances that I have here. I have a lot of their fragrances. A couple of them I wanted to pick up samples. However, I generally try to stick to samples that have a sprayer just because of the ease of testing and all that good stuff. So the first fragrance that I actually bought a full bottle of is actually Signature TABAC. And this is a really good fragrance. This revolves around a tobacco note, however, or a tobacco-based fragrance. It does it a little bit differently. It does it in a way that's kind of refreshing, if you will, more appropriate for the fall, lighter and easier to wear. So this is the first fragrance that we have. We have TABAC, and we have a couple of other fragrances here I'm gonna pull out. We have Zaharoff's Signature Royale X, the Signature Royale XXX. We also have the Signature Pour Homme, which is the original fragrance that really started the brand, kick-started it, I should say. And then we have 3 more fragrances. And the other 3 fragrances we have here is the Royale, we have the Rosé, and we also have one more, which is Noir. So let's take a look at what the travel atomizers look like. And they're very nice 7.5 ml bottles here. As you can see, we have the Signature on the front here with the name of the fragrance. It comes in this nice leather pouch, which is very fancy. It's very nice, high quality leather. And in this pouch lay 3 fragrances. So they have a couple of kits where you can actually, it's mix and match. They're kind of preset already, and they come in like so. And basically this is what it looks like. And these are perfect for travel. You can pick this up on the go and take this with you. And it's nice. You can put like your date night fragrance, you can put your signature wear, and you can also put your midday fragrance. So really nice idea. I really love this. On the inside of the leather is a suede as well. Really high quality grain on the leather with the Zaharoff there. So you can see that, and also the suede, super high quality. I love the attention to detail with the also printed in, which also looks like it is engraved as well in the Zaharoff. So it's engraved and printed. So there you go, nice attention to detail. In the package, I received this little postcard here, It's actually not that little, but it's nice. You see that they have Elixir of the World. This is also a poster that you can purchase. And then on the back, we have the nice design, and it almost looks like the blueprint that George himself might have been sketching in the design of his brand. And then on the inside is a nice little pamphlet guide. And in this guide, we can see that we have all of our fragrances here, and it just gives you all of the notes along with all of the concentrations and all of that. This is really nice. And here we go, we have, oh, this is awesome. Believe it or not, this is the first time I'm seeing this signature. Man, so this is signed by George himself. There's my name, and I feel like I'm ecstatic. You're awesome, man. So basically, this is perfect. This is exactly why I wanted to relay this message to you guys about this awesome brand. The little touches like this just, man, it really goes a long way. What I wanted to actually mention is that there are some differences in some of these concentrations. For instance, Signature Royale X is a 27% concentration in comparison to some of these others, which are EDPs and don't necessarily say anything. However, the other ones do say 22% concentration. So this is a nice little pamphlet that you will receive from Zaharoff himself. Awesome, awesome attention to detail. Thoroughly enjoy it. Fantastic. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some first impressions. I haven't smelt this in a very long time. This is the TABAC. And so I'm gonna pull up the notes, and we're gonna talk about the notes and kind of just go over what I get with the initial blast. So I haven't even had a full wearing of this one either, guys. So we'll go ahead and do the whole spiel with the notes on the screen. This looks like it's a tobacco-based fragrance. Obviously from the name as well, it says TABAC. But what caught my eye this time was rum. A lot of the fragrances from the Zaharoff line do have a signature base of like frankincense, myrrh, lavender. That's what I've noticed to be very common in some of these notes. However, redundancy has not been a factor as of yet. Let's go ahead and do some of the sprays, because that is a topic that I do hear quite frequently, and I would like to address that with that Let's Discover. So here we go. Here's the couple sprays of TABAC. Very high class tobacco fragrance. This is not your typical dark tobacco fragrance. This is just the first impressions here, guys. I have not worn it yet, so still working with that same opening as the first time that I ever sprayed it. Sprayer on it is fantastic. I get a light tobacco fragrance. That's what I get. I definitely can detect some lavender in there. I don't really get too much of a booze, mostly some green tobacco leaf. It's not too resinous. I can pick up some woods like cedar and sandalwood. And honey. Honey is there too. It's a gold honey. So it's nice that he says gold honey, because that's kind of the feeling I get. It's a light type of honey. It's not like a sticky sweet honey. It's the right type of honey. There is a little bit of a star anise here that's giving it just a touch of something like a licorice. And there is Divana in here as well. Very nice fragrance. It's like a blonde tobacco fragrance. That's the way I can really describe this one. A blonde tobacco fragrance. Really good. This isn't one that I'm gonna think like wintertime. This is more of the fall time, springtime, transitioning from summertime or into summertime type of tobacco fragrance. Very unique. This is the definition of niche. This is a nice DNA here. This is different. So that was TABAC, and it's very, very nice. The next fragrance that we're gonna talk about is going to be Rosé. Rosé is one of the very few rose fragrances that I absolutely adore. There's only 3 that I can think of from the top of my head, and I can list them for you right now that I thoroughly enjoy. YSL Ultime, the Adonis Awakens by Argos, and this one. This is the highest end of them all. This is a freaking sexy rose fragrance. High class, super high-end rose, and you can really, it's almost so realistic. It's like rose and honey, and it's just so real. You can tell that these ingredients are really naturally sourced. So let me spray this on. Wow, this is good. So we have Turkish rose, we have the Bulgarian rose, we have amber, we have the jasmine, red peony. This isn't a feminine fragrance, guys, not at all. And it's so creamy from that sandalwood. There is oud that's listed in the notes, but it's not anything animalic whatsoever. Sugarcane, myrrh, and olibanum make this. It makes this. It really turns this into a more masculine fragrance. And it's the foundation of this entire fragrance for sure. That sugar, olibanum, and myrrh, the frankincense, hold the entire fragrance, and it's just beautiful, super realistic rose petals. It's fresh rose petals that are almost honeyed. It's a waxy rose petal. Very sexy, very beautiful fragrance. Definitely a beautiful fragrance. So that was Rosé. The next fragrance that we have here is Signature Noir. Basically what I think this one's gonna be is a darker take on the original Signature Pour Homme. And so just because of that noir, I would think that this would be a more appropriate nighttime type of signature fragrance. So we're gonna go ahead and put the notes on the screen and talk about it. So there are some key differences. There isn't really any lavender note that's listed here. We have that basil, coriander, some pink pepper in the top. Blonde cedar is still there. We still have some anise that's now dropped into the heart. And we still have that myrrh, olibanum, and sandalwood in the base. You are gonna get a lot of that similar base that's holding the entire fragrance, but the fragrance is not the same. It's not the same. The transitions are completely different. However, the base is the same. So I can understand where people are coming from when they say, oh, I have this, and it just smells like different twists on it. Really, it's different ideas. So I really don't think that this compares too much to the Signature Pour Homme, but I definitely can sense the differences. So the Signature Noir is probably the closest to the Signature in my opinion as of right now from the opening, just because of that very signature DNA. So Signature Noir is one that I definitely do detect some darker facets, but it doesn't veer off too far from the original. So Signature Noir is still pretty solid, and a lot of these notes here you will pick up. Mostly what I'm detecting a lot of is definitely that olibanum, frankincense, and myrrh sandalwood. In that opening, I didn't get too much of that basil or anything like that, but I definitely got some ginger roots and some of that blonde cedar. The next fragrance is Signature Royale. And Signature Royale seems to be a little bit more different than the Pour Homme, which is the original, remember, so we're doing all these comparisons to the original now. So Signature Noir kind of stayed a little bit closer to the original Pour Homme, whereas this one, per the notes, looks a little bit different. We have cardamom here where we didn't have cardamom. We have apple. We still have that lavender, yes we do, but we don't really have some of those base notes, that frankincense and myrrh. So let's see what kind of differences we get here. I see a new note here, magnolia and gold patchouli. So let's see. And what's beautiful here is that you guys see where they're sourcing all these ingredients from. These are 100% natural smelling fragrances. These are one of the least synthetic fragrances that I own, hands down. So let's go ahead, Signature Royale. I mean, even the atomizer on these travel sprays are fantastic. Yes, definitely different, definitely different. This is, guys, this is very different than the original. I got a slap of cardamom that's blended perfectly with the lavender and the cedar. Really good, really, really good. Wow, this is actually one of my favorites. Signature Royale, I think, is gonna be full bottle worthy for me. Full bottle worthy, 100%. This is delicious. There is some suede in here, cardamom. This is kind of an oriental sweet fragrance. Really damn good and creamy. Creamy, cardamom, and some lavender. Really good fragrance. Signature Royale has definitely won in comparison to the Noir. So far, Rosé is fantastic, very event specific, and Royale has won my heart, definitely won my heart. And TABAC, very unique. So let's continue on with the next fragrance. So the next fragrance is actually Royale X. So it's Royale with an X. What is the difference? Let's see. We still have that cardamom. There's pimento berry in here. I didn't see that in the last one. Cedar leaf instead of blonde cedar. How does that differ? We can see the sourcing, the origins. Sandalwood is still there. We still have gold patchouli. We still have oud, and it's leather rather than a suede. And then also we see that the leather is composed from notes like vetiver, rock rose. Rock rose is basically cistus. Cistus is rock rose. So if you look up rock rose, you'll see the same thing as a cistus note. And the cistus note also relates to a labdanum note. And then we have benzoin resin. So these three notes combine to give you the feel of leather, which is leather. And then also we have musk. So let's see what we get with this composition and how well I think this fragrance is going to do in comparison to the original. Here we go. Really excited. This is the first time. Wow, this is very different. This is very different than the last one. I like this. I like this. It's different. There is something here. It's the berry. I think it's the berry. It's really not that close to Signature Royale. I won't lie, I am enjoying the Signature Royale more. But this is different. I can definitely tell you that this is different than the Signature Royale, and let me see how. This is a little bit refreshing in comparison, if that makes... Let's give it a quick comparison here, guys. I'm very interested to see. Here we go, just in the opening. Yes, this is a bit fresher. Signature Royale X is a bit fresher than Signature Royale. Signature Royale almost feels like there's some gold honey with the oriental sweetness, sandalwood, whereas this one is a lot more berry. I can definitely smell some berry, some juniper. This is slightly more refreshing version of Royale. Okay, yeah, this is definitely different. So it's a little bit, I don't want to call it dirtier, but there's a berry feel, and it's kind of like leather. It's the leather, that's what it is. So basically what I'm picking up with the Signature Royale X that's differing really, you know, that's making it significantly different is the leather in the base. This is less creamy, more leathery. And then also in that mid, I can definitely pick up the Himalayan juniper, the juniper berries, or the juniper and the pimento berries. So there's more of berries in here, and then it goes into a leather versus the other one, which it goes into a creamy sandalwood and some vanilla type of notes. So kind of different, oriental sweet, and then this one goes berry leather almost. So quite different from each other, quite different. So that's what those two really remind me of. Second to last fragrance is Signature Royale XXX. I was very excited to try this one. So the description on the website says that this one is basically inspired by Joey Cannoli and the hashtag Cannoli Mafia. So Joey Cannoli is on YouTube at I am Joey Cannoli. And so what this is described as a fun one-night stand or lav at 30,000 feet, a true scandal. Now XXX is not for the faint of heart. It's animalistic to its core, which is why it's going to be a limited run. So guys, this is a limited run and it's only sold in travel packs. So when you purchase this fragrance, you can purchase it in a travel pack. It'll come as 3 7.5 mLs. You get 3 of these bad boys for, you can get the Royale and the Royale X and the Royale XXX. It'll come together like that. So realistically, you're only gonna get 1 of these in that pack, and that's all it's going to be sold as, and it's just a limited time. So basically, this is all the same oils as Royale and Royale X. It's the final of that series. It's gonna be the XXX, the same oils, all of which are just amplified in certain oils, and some of the others are just turned down. So it says here that all 3 have the same oils, just about the same oils, except some of them are turned up whilst the others are turned down. So very interesting to see here, especially since I detected a lot of differences of the Royale X to the Royale. Now I'm very interested to see what the differences are gonna be from the Royale XXX. So we're gonna prime this one and give it a go. Here we go. Very interested. I do enjoy some animalistic fragrances. Here we go. I can sense that the frankincense and myrrh are highly concentrated. highly concentrated. This is a super duper resinous fragrance. This is a more mature version of them all. This smells closer to Royale X. Just amplify the heck out of that frankincense and myrrh and that rock rose. Yeah, that's essentially what I get from this one. It's a myrrh resin dominant fragrance. So if you like Tonka and Myrrh by Jo Malone, this is kind of giving me that feel. Of course, this is much better than that, but very similar to Jo Malone's Tonka and Myrrh. I get a little bit of lavender maybe, but really honestly, the frankincense and myrrh is extremely amplified here. It's definitely you have to be a resins connoisseur for sure. So that's really all I get for now. That's what I'm gonna sum it up for now. This is gonna shine in the winter time. I'm gonna definitely give it a proper wearing and we'll go from there. Lastly, guys, we're gonna go into the fragrance that started it all, the Signature Pour Homme. All right, so there's a lot of notes for this one, but apparently this started it all. So we have the top notes that we see, all these notes are here, and the DNA looks very, very nice. Actually, this was my scent of the day, and I honestly only have good things to say about this. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and spray it, and we're gonna talk about what I really get here. And here we go. Right off of the top, a couple of notes I can tell is cardamom, pepper, lavender. Cardamom, pepper, lavender. Kind of similar to what I picked up with Noir. Actually, very similar to what I picked up with Noir. Ginger is there, definitely. The pear, juicy pear, is it there? I can't really distinguish, but there is something that if I really smell and think about it, I can say, okay, maybe I smell pear. Maybe I smell pear. But mostly I still get that creamy sandalwood, the frankincense, the myrrh. It's a similar concentration between the Pour Homme and the Noir, which makes it seem really close. The only one that I think would, kind of be a redundant purchase if you bought the Noir and the Signature Pour Homme. The others are all very different. Very different. Let me be clear, very different. So Signature Pour Homme is definitely up there in the DNA. I do enjoy Royale the most as of now. TABAC, okay, so full bottle worthy for me. As of right now, TABAC, Royale, Pour Homme, and Rosé. Sexy fragrances, very sexy. The other three are niche, and I feel like these will grow on me. Royale XXX is a specific audience type of fragrance, which I enjoy. I do enjoy resinous fragrances like myrrh and frankincense and rock rose or cistus. And Royale X is also fantastic. These are all really great fragrances, guys. Signature Pour Homme started it all. But in my opinion, number one for me right now, which is, take it very lightly, guys, with a grain of salt, obviously, Royale. Signature Royale. Very, very nice. Signature Royale. And then TABAC, Rosé, and Signature Pour Homme. This is really fun. I loved discovering the Zaharoff line fragrances. I'm gonna be a forever long-time purchaser of all of his fragrances, and I think you should jump on the bandwagon because he's an awesome person with some awesome products, and products that do justify the price points and the value. And I think that as a consumer, you will be appreciated. And it's already hard enough as it is nowadays to, really get the means to purchase a lot of these fragrances, let alone find the quality of, product. This is definitely quality, guys. I can sense it, and I guarantee that you will sense it as well. This has been a blast, and we're gonna start off this series with a full review on Pour Homme. Following suit will probably be TABAC, and then we're gonna go ahead and do Signature Royale, and the rest will follow suit. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I hope you enjoyed watching this video half as much as I did making it for you guys. If you found some value to this content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps your boy out. Peace.